Did you see Howard Stern talking about how he's upset that black players in the NBA don't know who he is?
Yeah.
No.
You didn't see that, Jay?
I don't want
He said they won't talk to him courtside.
He said they won't talk to me. Like, it's like they don't know who I am. It's like, yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't know who you are.
They tell me
but he
Jordan
was
Poole
probably
doesn't know me?
Yeah.
Was he being self-deprecating and being like, look, nobody knows me anymore?
I didn't hear him talk about it, but it's been
I
going
bet he
around
was-
online.
He
a
also
lot.
said, like, is everything about race relations?
Yeah, he goes, is everything about race now? Like he was kind of serious.
Right. You also
Joey,
used to get in blackface and put a bone through your nose
Yeah,
for
maybe-
sketches.
maybe they
Oh,
know
wait,
that,
yeah,
Howard.
30 years ago.
Yeah, the Grand Wizard.
He'd be
on.
lucky if it was that.
No, none of those guys were alive. by
I
the
know.
way.
That's why he's lucky.
Yeah.
It's not that they
It's
know
not like
he used
they're.
to do
It's not like
blackface.
they're like I'm a bigger fan of Artie Lang, so I'm not going to talk to Howard. Yeah,
Like, where's Jackie the Joke Man?
yeah. Howard keeps looking for Beetlejuice the whole time. Yeah, he gets confused.
They're like, Gary the retard, not Gary the conqueror. Asshole. You Jew.
They're huge Stern fans, but they hate Stern.
Yeah.
It's not like Jason Tatum is like, fuck that guy. I'm more of an O&A guy.
Right.
Like, you know, they just don't know who he is. Joey, Howard Stern has had an Eminem-esque Twilight
For like
period.
10 years now.
Yeah, it's been.
He's the
it's-
guy who interviews Hillary Clinton and talks about how he hates Bernie Sanders.
How do you defend this, Joey? He's a massive embarrassment. He wouldn't let people. He wouldn't leave his house during the pandemic, like when it was like long over and nobody cared anymore.
I think Eminem is worse because Eminem's actually releasing like albums and stuff like
It's
that.
actually not true because Eminem's, even though he makes still bad music, people still do appreciate it on some level, and they still go like platinum and shit. And
He's still doing like good rapping.
Yeah,
but just
yeah.
nobody
cares,
about,
but the
yeah.
rapping's
Well,
fine.
you think it's good? You
No.
hate his.
I
latest
hate his
rap.
latest stuff, but there's still always a song where I'm like, yeah, that's a radio
Right,
song.
and his actual rapping on he's doing like, I mean, it's like the lyrical miracle thing.
he's
you
still,
know?
but he's still doing it.
Yes, exactly.
You know, whereas Howard Stern is like literally the antithesis to who he was. He seems determined to ruin everybody who loved him.
right.
And
It
their
would be like
feelings.
if Eminem like made a country album or something.
Yeah.
you know, and he's just not even rapping.
It's like
He's
if Eminem started making like Rupee Kaur like poetry, where he was like, "We are sad. I am
right.
sad."
When you dipped your fingers into my honey pot and pulled back nothing sweet, what did you expect?
I see them as very.
But it's an 80-year-old Jewish man. Yeah.
It's
I
like
think-
if he started doing like 1-2 buckle my shoe.
No,
raps.
I think that we're both watching people that were very good at what they used to do become lazy and kind of like shit out.
But they're such sociopaths for attention
They just
that
need-
they refuse to leave their jobs.
They want to get paid. They don't want to. They don't want to leave.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a paid thing because Howard's like, what? You gotta be worth like $1 billion, you know?
No.
Did you see that? Did you see that secret meeting that leaked
I
at
did,
Stern?
yeah.
Sad.
What was that?
What
was that?
happened?
So Stern had like he hosted like a company wide meeting where he was like, "Hey, here are the things that I think this show's going wrong about because the views were declining." And he's like, "I think we need to do this to pick up the viewership." And he was basically just being saying, Chase, do you remember like his points?
I think he was literally like I mean, it was just like watching, the guy who was like, yeah, Artie's dying of heroin in the corner. And he's like, to increase shareholder value, we need to have more interviews with young stars like Ariana
Exactly.
Grande.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
That type of thing. It's like you used to have like retarded people on and like, get them to the point of killing themselves. That was the point of the show. But you used to bribe brothers and sisters into touching each other's genitals for money.
Yeah.
Because they needed it desperately.
You're exploiting mentally retarded people.
Yeah, you're explaining. And before that, and that's an improvement from you doing blackface all the fucking time.
You're
Right.
throwing bologna covered in mayonnaise at strippers' assholes
Right.
who are addicted to drugs, and you're giving them like $25.
Right. And that's an improvement from doing the most Robin Williams style, like,
Yes.
oh, hello there
Right.
type of like comedy like all day long.
Well,
But so hang on, wait. So Howard, I think, really was very funny, and at
Well, yeah,
some,
of course.
At some points, every like big comedian, including Louis C.K., Chris Rock, and like all of our favorite comedians, if you asked them at some point, they would be like, "Who is the funniest person in the world?" There was a period of time where they would all say like Howard Stern,
Right.
And he was our biggest influence, and blah blah blah. So I think what happened was Howard Stern, he got the Sirius
XM.
XM deal. They gave him $100 million a year, and for 5 years, like $500 million.
That's
And
insane.
Insane.
$500 million he got.
Absolutely insane. And then
Just spending on scarecrow outfits the whole time. So he can walk around like
Yeah.
like from Batman the animated series scarecrow.
$500,000 to go around town having to tell people you're not Phil Spector.
have a bell. No, I remember he came on Letterman when Jace worked at Letterman.
He did. I saw him there. Yeah.
And Jace was like, he looked like shit. Like he just
looked
dressed like
he legitimately was dressed like he had like a 25 button down vest and like a long capey thing.
Yeah.
And he looked like a Neil Gaiman Sandman. Like he should be walking in like this and like the wind's blowing or something. And he's here to do like Ray Bradbury horror fiction.
Right.
Like he's going to sell you a trumpet that plays all the right notes, but it curses your soul.
it's like a Stephen King.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
It
like
curses your soul.
an ironic, something wicked this way comes style villain. And yeah, I mean he was good on that Letterman thing that I had, but he had
Just like
writers
shit,
and
but no.
everything.
So anyways, he was very good. Now this is the last like 30 seconds. We'll get off this. He was extremely funny and very talented, and he innovated a huge part of what changed comedy culture. And then he got remarried to Beth, and he
Who is his wife? Who is Beth?
Beth.
Is she that hot?
Oh, yeah, she was like a model. She was a supermodel.
Right.
And so he got married to her and was basically like, okay, so I've been like getting heavily criticized for being controversial. I could keep doing that, but I'm already very rich. Or I could like keep getting paid by Sirius $100 million a year, and I could interview like Madonna and Hillary Clinton and just kind of coast and do easy interviews.
I don't mind all that. The fact that he started actually having like opinions that he knows in his heart of hearts are so anti him.
Yeah. He started having really gay opinions.
like like in like where you're trying to like it feels like you're actively trying to ruin who I thought you were.
No.
Because you're like 2 years into COVID, he's like, stay home, everybody. It's not. It's like it's like construction workers.
Yep.
Guys who are openly racist on Twitter.
Your
like those are your
callers.
fans.
Your
Yeah.
fans.
He
like
was,
it was
giving
bizarre.
the opinions that give him the least amount of like hateful feedback and can keep him on air. That's what it's all like for. He's like, okay, let me say the thing, non-controversial. It's gonna, I can, skate by.
I don't know. I think he's given himself more problems realistically than just like skated by.
Problems in your world, but in his world, in the Hamptons with Beth.
What are we talking about? He's showing up to fucking NBA games and he's like, these blacks don't even know who I am. He's obviously losing his mind slightly.
Pissed off that like a 21-year-old like that Zion Williamson
Yeah.
doesn't know who he is.
Yeah,
He's desperate for material still, and he's like, oh, how do I turn this NBA game into like a comedy thing for the show? But he's not getting. If he came out and was like, oh, fucking COVID is fake, and like it's a virus by China, he would be getting everybody in his life.
But here's the thing: it's not that extreme. He doesn't need to do that. All he has to do is not be the guy that's like literally gayer than like anybody on earth about
Him
COVID.
being gay is the easiest life for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's why we're criticizing.
That's why
him.
we're making fun of him.
I know, but I'm just telling you that's why he's doing it. But
I don't know if you know why he's doing it.
I do know.
I don't know.
I know him. I
It's
listen to him every single
to save
day.
the money. It's all that. It's all that.
It's to keep making money and to have the best, easiest life for himself.
well, how do you get that big and then start not caring about your legacy?
It's
as
because you
opposed
get
to the
comfortable.
money?
It's like when a fighter,
Joey's about to like hit me.
Yeah. Joey's got to get a Baba
Whatever.
Booey tattoo lasered off.
no, it's like when they say it's really hard to it's really hard to train for a fight when you're sleeping in silk sheets. And not to compare like a fucking podcaster or a radio guy to a fighter, but when you're constantly dealing with like mental distress because you said some crazy thing, you have to wake up and go like, all right, fuck, how do I defend myself against this controversy? It is similar to like, okay, I'm waking up, I have to like train, I have to be, think about this opponent. So
Can I say what I think? Is this too unfunny to get a serious conversation about Stern? Is this
Probably.
all
No,
right?
let's
but
do it.
go
Let's do it. This could be the Patreon too. It doesn't matter.
I think he got way too into therapy, and that's kind of like what undid him. Because this all happened around the period where he was like, I'm going to therapy twice a day.
Yeah.
He was going to therapy. And I do think, like, at a certain point, too much therapy makes you
Jeez,
an
that's
extremely
insane.
gay
Twice a day.
person.
What are they measuring his nose?
Yeah, it's like John's weigh-in. Yeah. In order to still be a media, your nose needs
He's
to be
spitting
over.
in a cup to make sure it's a little smaller than last week.
No, I think to stay on top of
Yeah.
media, it's got to be long enough to
Oh,
still
right,
be
right,
Jewish. Yeah, they're doing measurements, and they
Can
go,
you still do the news?
we don't like the angle of the hook, and they're holding like a carpenter's thing up to it.
Joey, thoughts?
I think both of I think both of those things were a consequence of age. So I think the reason he started getting so weak and having such softer takes was because he was getting old and weak. And I think the reason he started going to therapy is because he was getting old and weak. And he started just to like need help. And he started getting weak and he's like, I can't take the pressure anymore. Let me go to a therapist. Let me stop saying stuff that puts me under pressure. And he just got old and he got rich and he got soft.
He got soft. Frankly, I wouldn't even rape him anymore. Because he's an ugly old Jewish man.
Yeah, I get it, Joe. I know where you're coming from. I've had a lot of my heroes
He sucks.
die.
He sucks. He fucking sucks.
He's terrible.
I'm telling you
He's
why
terrible.
I think he sucks.
Right.
now.
I don't think we're having a disagreement.
No,
You're
we
just more-
agree.
you're
I'm just
to get
trying to
the bottom
figure out
of it.
why, because
I'm-
it's bizarre to me. Because he already made it on that image. It's like, why do you have to be this guy now? That
And I
is
think
so lame.
Because it is an interesting thing about like all artists become like kind of terrible.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm always thinking about like,
Yeah.
what the hell goes on?
Like I told you this about like before Kendrick dropped his last album. I was like, I feel like he kind of almost has to like retire or something because and then
he'll be
released-
ruined.
Yeah, and then he releases Miles Morales and the
Miles Morales,
the frog dancers or whatever. Whatever it was
Miles
called.
Morales, and the
That's the
frog
Black Spider-Man.
dancers.
I knew what I was doing. I
Yeah.
knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Magoo and the Big Timers.
Yes, exactly.